Oh my gosh. I am so grateful, so grateful um, for that segment. Thank you so much. And Michelle, what we have coming up is such a treat. It's she's like, I know she's been listening. Synderella Clarke is a musician, an amazing music engineer, in New York. Between her and her partner, they've had a lot of involvements in developing talents in New York and in Broadway. And oh my gosh, she lives the opposite side of what Dr. Taggy is trying to teach us. Um, Cinderella is just lived such an amazing, tough, yes, amazing, tough mom life. Cinderella, this is
Hey,
Ava. Hey, and you've got Michelle here as my co-panelist. Oh, I we're so grateful that you had this time to come on the show. You're a woman who I said you don't wear many hats. You collected hats and you opened a hat store. Her so we have both on Instagram, on Facebook, the collection of Cinderella's accomplishments and roles that she plays, but she's wearing many hats is an understatement. But because I don't get to utter all of them, would you help us a little bit on what you do? I would love to hear that from you. Between me and Michelle and Shamika's in the background, we'd love to get to know you more, hear more of you.
absolutely. Thank you guys for having me here. My name is Synderella Clarke. I've been a master engineer for 21 years. Michael Jackson's engineer is my mentor. I started with Dallas Austin and been affiliated with a lot of people that probably half of the people you saw on the radio. I mean, I'm saw on the radio, saw on television or heard on the radio. And I'm also an assistant casting director for Mike Styles and people he's casted for the people he's put on, for certain shows is Spider-Man's, Transformers, Botched, oh God, Orange is the New Black. He held accounts for Super Bowl. He's a celebrity photographer for Vogue magazine. You pretty much name it, we do it. But we also do a lot of stuff for our community. It's not always movies and music. We help around where we live as well. So
So inspirational. When people look at you and what you do now, Cinderella,
mhm.
they I'm sure they absolutely have no idea, where you came from and how tough it was for you to be where you are. Because sometimes we look at people and
Mhm.
just look at them at their highlight, and we look
Mhm.
at them at their success, and part of us feels like, well, I'm glad that that's that for them, but that's not how my life went, and this is not how my life was chosen for me. But we don't know a lot of times that what people endured to be the tough person that they are right now. Like, it's not it does nobody from just laying on the couch is able to manage multiple hats like you do. I mean, I feel like your life has trained you for where you are right now, managing as much as you do. I think it is for all of us. And the life we complain about us as hard is exactly what we need for us to be who we're called to be. And you're like standing on the highlights now, the limelights, doing all of these things for even the people that you cast into your movies. But I'd love to hear what was that journey like for you.
Well, to be honest, I was that person. It sounds great when you name all the musicians, but I was that person. Every time the radio would come on, my friend would be on it. When it was BET, a friend of mine was on it, and I did not have that platform. I was behind the scenes, so I had been there. Um, it took a situation that happened for me to kind of see things different. Sometimes we get stressed. We're like, this is too hard. But I had a mini stroke, and that was a game.
Mm.
Um, it went from, oh, life is too hard. These bills, my son's autistic, like what was me, to God, if you let me live, I will do anything you ask me to do. And when he did, Everything was just different. The sky was bluer, the trees were greener. And I found out I was doing something as hard as it was for me in the beginning to understand everyone speak about vibrations and frequencies. I understood it. It was just gratitude. Something as simple as just being grateful for where you were, where you are. It got so bad, my kids couldn't eat without saying thank you. Like, we don't go to sleep before saying thank you. We wake up, we have a saying every morning we wake up, we say thank you for this magical day and all of its magical outcomes. It could be 10 people in my house and we're all going to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And you start learning about vibrations and frequencies. And then you start reading the Bible a little different, no disrespect to anyone, but that's my preference. And it makes you make different life changes, and you just kind of sit back and you're like, how did I get here? And it came from just understanding that, gratitude goes a long way, a long, long way. It's a game changer.
That is amazing. It's true. But I love how you grew gratitude to a whole new level after you had your stroke. Like,
yeah, life.
And gratitude is powerful. Yeah. Gratitude is powerful. You're right about. I think Michelle could speak more into this, and just appreciate how getting into that shift of gratitude, and a lot of the exhaustion I feel is like the lack of appreciation for what you could see. Because I'm sure when you had this shift of being grateful, things didn't change much for you in terms of things didn't get prettier, but somehow the way you see things,
the perception, correct.
The perception has changed. But then, of course, as your perception changes, you begin to also usher new things in your life. Did you experience that?
It was like completely overnight. I did. I started working with Mike after that. Like the calls were coming in, the business got better. Everything that I always wanted happened literally overnight. You cannot make this up. They call me Cinderella, but people around me are like, now your story's starting to match your name. Yeah, I did. And it was overnight. It comes when you want it to come, but you have to really believe it. Like when they talk about faith and belief, it seems hard, but once you get like the hang of it and the understanding of it, the world is full of magic. It's magical. Like you were taught that we're all connected, by atoms and vibrations and frequencies. It's all true. It's true. It's like Fantasy Island. This place could be whatever you want it to be. And that's true.
I love that. And it's even the way you describe life is so beautiful. I could say that you really like treasure it. There's something about how you view life that's just like so magical. It was like, compared to like, if I wasn't in front of you, average people would complain about life and about how hard it is, how about unfair it is, and how about, but the way you say it, and I think it has a lot to do with you having had a second life practically. You were given a second life that really made that so valuable that, how did you say it? Like it can be anything, between the atoms and how the vibrations are. Absolutely. Michelle's hopping in. Life is a blessing.
Hello, Synderella. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story. I think it's so fascinating how you're burgeoning. You're absolutely burgeoning in your career, in your creativity, and we can all feel it, but we all see that. I wanted to speak about your journey. You started as an executive music engineer, and I remember as a kid listening to cassette tapes. Yes, I'm that old. So cassette tapes, and there were tracks on those tapes that I wanted to listen to over and over again. And I wanted to know what was the common denominator here. And it was always the sound engineer, because the sound engineer was in control of everything. The sound engineer took that artist and it took us listeners to a journey, a beautiful journey that I wanted to listen to over and over. So when it's by no mistake that you're speaking about sound frequencies and energy of life, but there was a lot of control in that career. And then I listened to what you had to say. You talked about gratitude, especially after a mini stroke. I mean, there's nothing mini about any stroke, people. First of all, let's just say that
No.
it's a traumatic brain injury, and you have to work your way around to grow from that, and you sure did. And the one thing that came up is that gratitude makes you trust more, does it not? Because you're in control of everything your career prior, and then you said, and then, my gratitude and things started developing. Can you speak to that about your journey and your manifestations from there?
Oh, wow. I've heard about, you can kind of tell when people talk where they're at on their spiritual journey. So I ran across people who referenced this kind of stuff before, but I didn't quite understand. So when I was so happy to be here, I mean, I could have kissed the grass, I could have hugged the trees. When I got there, it was like, you didn't have to worry. Like, trust just came easy because it's a flow. How do I explain it? It's like a flow. Like, there's nothing that could go wrong because the worst is over. But if you pay attention, it's a contrast from where you are, from where you were, and you can see it. So when you see it, it's like learning how to do the magic trick. So you want to do more magic. So you try it and it works. So you try it again with this, and and that's kind of, it took a domino effect from there. Like, I saw the contrast. The trusting part just came second nature after the fact.
Wow, that is beautiful, that contrast. And so you're also assistant casting director with Mike Stiles, who certainly has an illustrious career with themselves, with, like you mentioned, Orange is the New Black, is in their Avengers and such, really doing some game-changing type of casting, which I have to say I appreciate. Those are some of my favorite shows. Now, how do you show that contrast? That control first as a sound engineer, and then you're handing it over, and magic is happening. And I love how you say doing the magic trick, learning how to do the magic trick, because I love magic, I love illusions, but it's always nice to have that knowledge. Now, with casting, you're putting your trust in people. You're seeing something in somebody, and then you're casting them, and you're helping to do that. How do you trust people? How do you know?
It's two things. I found out whatever you vibrate is going to come back to you, and that's period. So if you're in a space, you have this layer of protection over yourself when you're vibrating at a certain frequency anyway. Now, it's actually in reverse with our castings. They're trusting us. And so we kind of have like a family community when it comes to our clients. It's just as, difficult as it could be in any industry, music, CEO companies. It is as well in the movie world. And it is a lot of people out there that don't always have your best interest at heart. But once again, when you're vibrating on a certain level, like, we're like magnets. They come, it's nothing but love. Everyone has everyone's best interest at heart. It's no judgment. It just kind of flows from there. So it's an awesome experience, but it's not so much as us trusting them. I mean, us trusting them, it's them trusting us.
That's beautiful. So for the listeners out there, the creatives out there, Synderella, the people who are going through challenges themselves, and they do want to break out, they do want to be part of that magic. What do you have to say to them, to the little Synderellas out there and the little boys who are like Synderella? What do you have to say to them about how they can be where you are and where you're going?
I would say you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. I would say being on a spiritual journey is just like school. There's stages to this, there's levels to this. You're going to get there. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's, because typically everybody goes through the same things, but they go at it at different times. And that's why, you might not get it, but, keep yourself encouraged. If it's hard, watch the YouTubes, get the books, out of sight, out of mind, get the incense, make a prayer table, watch The Secret a million times over and over on Netflix. The information's out there. Play the gospel music. And I am into, frequencies. Make sure you watch your frequencies. Don't let negative energy into you. Walk away from it. And most importantly, to get to the next level, love yourself and let everything that happened to you in the past, you gotta let it go.
Yes. So good. I love all of the tips that you gave, Synderella. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the things that that really was precious to what you said is that your son is also autistic.
Yes.
Yes. And what's amazing is when you started to develop this gratitude, whatever your challenges are probably still the same challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a different energy and a take to life, and maybe even how you show up for your son. Could you tell us a little bit more about your mom experience with having an autistic child? Because that's not easy.
When he was born, I really wasn't savvy on the word autism. It wasn't around. I mean, I may have heard it, but I didn't know what it was. So I was introduced to what it was when he turned about 3. There was no talking, eating on his own, walking. Absolutely beautiful baby, but he can't walk. What's wrong? It kind of added into the, okay, God, what else are you going to do? It was. We've had the police called 6 times because they thought he was being abused. I was washing his hair. Our life, it's, if I had to say it from back then, it would have been from a very painful place. If I had to look at it right now, once again, it's perception. It's a gift, because that boy taught me patience. He taught me strength. When they said he couldn't, he did. He can't have a straight conversation, but he can spell anything he wants on YouTube. He looks up how to construct planes and trains. So he's more like my little superhero. They said he couldn't do it, and here he is making straight A's and B's in school. It's kind of cool to see what they said he couldn't do, and he could. So I can't be like, I wouldn't trade my kids for the world. Like, the experience was great. It taught me how to just sit back. My daughter taught me how to slow down, but my son taught me how to stop. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of worked out.
That's so awesome. I love how you said that, your son is a gift because he actually taught you. And that there's a lot of truth to that our kids do teach us, strengthen us, in a lot of ways. So that's just so powerful. How even the challenges that your son have, the challenges that he has, you've been grateful for it, and now, and I'm sure that he's thriving because of everything that you are as a mom. And we see Shamika's jumped up. Thank you so much, Miko. Miko is our girl that helped us connect with Synderella. So I am grateful that you're both together on screen. Miko, give us a question or a comment you have for Synderella.
Wow. I just love this journey. More importantly, hi, Synderella. I just really wanted to pop in and say hello. I'm just kind of behind here, just communicating between everyone. And I just wanted to share how not only powerful your story is, how incredible and just what you've gone through, but more importantly, how you are inspiring people today. We are so excited that Recharging Your Superwoman has not only the opportunity to hear a little more about you, but more importantly, all the summits that are to come. but I am so grateful to just hear your story out loud and in this forum. And I just been sitting here smiling and clapping and yelling. And I said, oh, well, maybe I can go on camera and do that just for a hot second. Mostly because I really encourage those that are listening to you right now to hear what you've gone through. More importantly, what you have going through you, the vibrations, the energy, the excitement of how you can help others. But you paved the way for a lot of people with just what you've done already in this lifetime. So not only am I grateful that you've connected to Michelle and Ava, which are just amazing hosts. Aren't they doing such an amazing job today? Not only bringing such powerful women to the forefront, but more importantly, allowing you to share your story. And I just enjoyed that. So I'm so grateful you all allowed me to pop back in here. I just wanted to say hello to my friend, my sister. There's so many more powerful women that are coming here to hear exactly what you're saying. And I love that we're going to see this. We're going to see this out there. But more importantly, all of those little Cinderellas and the young men that are coming behind you that say, wow, she paved the way for us. Not just paved the way, but more importantly, she's telling this journey. And this journey is going to help a lot coming behind you. So thank you so much. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Michelle. More importantly, thank you, Cinderella, for not only giving us your voice and your journey and your story, but more importantly, of what's to come. So we look so much forward to seeing you here in the near future. And I'm just going to go ahead and fade on back out.
Well, if I could speak real quick, thank you guys, because I've had this story, but I've never put it out. So because of you and Ava and Michelle, I should be thanking you.
You know, Cinderella,
we're in the mutual love now, because it truly is heartfelt. And like, I want to just echo what Shmiko said and Cinderella, and I'm sure Ava's going to say something too, to this effect, that it's by mistake that everyone's being awakened and that we're joining and we're locking arms and we're making sure that we're going to bring as much of humanity and help everyone, including the youth, especially, so that we can really share the secret in the sauce. So thank you so much, Cinderella, for sharing the secret in your sauce.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Shmiko, I will be calling you later. If I could just say one more thing, they say that you can't, one person can't change the world, but from what I gather, it's so much negative vibrations and energies out there. Like if everybody decided to raise their vibrations and become positive, you actually balance out the scale. So that wasn't a true statement that one person couldn't change the world. And I hope somebody took something from that today. And thank you again for letting me be here.
Thank you so much. And Cinderella, looking at you, you're such a breath of fresh air of the entertainment industry. Like my thoughts of someone who would be like casting would be someone who would probably be more meaner. And I'm not surprised that you have people who are like, attracted to you like magnets, and then you treat them like family and they just trust you and they trust you to manage where you're going to put them and what you're going to get from them, because, you're pure love. Like, love just like overflows and exudes out of you. Even if you were quiet, even if you don't say anything, it just really, really flows out of you. I can't explain it, but it's between your appreciation for life, your appreciation for people, your gratitudes for everything. You just really, you vibrate love. Such love.
Believe it or not, I get that all the time. So yeah, you're right.
Well, thank you so much, Cinderella. We are going to look more, for more of you. I know that now that you're coming a little bit out, you were behind the scene, not really wanting to be seen, but that's changing. And so we're going to see more and more and more of Cinderella, because she's really, people has got to hear from how you see life and how you love. That's not something that you should hide. So we want to highlight you. We want to scream it to the world. Synderella Clarke, yes, we're going to watch more of you as come out. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Keep loving up on people, because you're so good at it. You're so good at it. And it's probably rare in your industry, so you're so needed. You're so needed.
Thank you. I
You're
hope
welcome. Thank you so much.